Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen announcing their divorce is now final, ending 13 years of marriage. What both of them said today and what Brady said this week about finishing out this season.
Tom Brady has won more Super Bowls than any quarterback in history. He has accumulated wealth beyond measure, endorsement deals that generate millions annually, and a legacy that will be studied for generations. Yet, at 48 years old, he finally admitted something no trophy case can fix, and no amount of money can restore. The greatest football player of his generation made a choice, and that choice cost him his marriage. The story of Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen is not a typical celebrity romance. When they met in 2006, it was a collision of two worlds at their absolute peak. Brady was already a three-time Super Bowl champion, the golden boy of the NFL, a quarterback who had established himself as the best in his era. Gisele was one of the world's highest-earning supermodels, a Brazilian sensation who had dominated the fashion industry for over a decade. They were not looking for each other. They found each other almost by accident at a social event, and from that moment, their lives became inexorably linked. By all accounts, the early years were magical. Gisele supported Brady through his career with genuine enthusiasm. She attended games, celebrated victories, and stood beside him as he accumulated championship after championship. Their marriage produced two children together, Benjamin and Vivian, and Brady also had a son, Jack, from a previous relationship. On the surface, everything appeared perfect. They had the kind of life that millions of people envied. Beautiful home in Florida, exotic vacations, successful careers, healthy children, and a love that seemed genuine and resilient. But beneath the glossy exterior of their Instagram-worthy life, something was slowly eroding. Gisele had made a conscious decision early in their relationship to step back from her modeling career to focus on building a family. This was not a demand Brady made. This was her choice, her sacrifice, made willingly because she believed they shared the same vision of what their future would look like. She imagined a husband who would eventually step away from football, who would be present for their children, who would build a life with her that existed beyond the stadium lights and the roar of crowds. What Gisele did not fully anticipate was how all-consuming Brady's dedication to football would become. Every season, she watched her husband disappear into an obsessive cycle of training, preparation, and competition. During the football season, Brady's commitment was absolute. He woke before dawn for workouts. He spent hours in film sessions, analyzing opponents and studying plays. He followed a strict diet that left no room for indulgence. He isolated himself mentally, preparing his mind for the battle ahead. His family existed in the margins of his focus, not at the center. This pattern repeated year after year. Gisele became the de facto single parent during football season. She managed the household, organized the children's schedules, attended their school events, and made the daily decisions that keep a family functioning. Brady was present physically sometimes, but mentally he was always at work. When the season ended, Gisele hoped for a genuine reunion with her husband, a period where he would be fully hers and their children's. Instead, she watched him dive into business ventures, attend off-season training camps, pursue endorsement opportunities, and prepare for the next season. There was always another project, always another opportunity, always something demanding his attention more urgently than his family. The turning point came in February 2022, when Brady made an announcement that shocked the sports world. After 22 seasons with the New England Patriots and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, after winning 7 Super Bowls, he declared his retirement from professional football. Gisele's response was joy and relief. On Instagram, she celebrated this moment, expressing excitement about their next chapter together. After nearly 2 decades of sacrifice and waiting, her husband was finally coming home. But the retirement lasted exactly 40 days. On March 13, 2022, Brady stunned everyone by announcing he was unretiring and returning for another season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The decision was made without consultation, without real discussion, without honoring the agreement they had made together. Brady's reasoning was that his place was on the field, that he still had more to prove, that he could not walk away. What he did not articulate, but what Gisele heard clearly, was that winning another championship mattered more to him than keeping his promise to her. This moment broke something fundamental in their marriage. It was not just about football anymore. It was about trust, about priorities, about whose needs mattered in their partnership. Gisele had waited, sacrificed her career, raised their children, built her life around his ambitions. She had finally seen the possibility of getting her husband back, and he chose the game over her. For Gisele, this was the moment she realized that no amount of love or effort on her part could ever compete with Brady's need for football. The 2022 season was visible torture for both of them. Photographers captured Gisele without her wedding ring. The couple was seen living in separate homes. Tabloids ran daily stories about the deteriorating marriage. Brady's teammates and coaches noticed he was not himself. He had lost weight dramatically. His usually sharp focus seemed scattered, and there was a sadness in his eyes that no championship game could cure. His assistant coach Tom Moore, who had worked with Brady for years, noted that he had never seen the quarterback so broken, so completely consumed by personal pain. In October 2022, less than 7 months after his unretirement, Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen announced their divorce. The split was finalized quickly because they had a prenuptial agreement and had already worked out custody arrangements. Both released measured statements about remaining committed to their children and co-parenting peacefully. Neither revealed the true depth of what had fractured their relationship. But the world could see that something fundamental had broken. Gisele eventually broke her silence in a major interview with Vanity Fair magazine. She was emotional but articulate about what had happened. She explained that they had entered the relationship wanting the same things, but over time, they began wanting different things from life. She addressed the rumor that she had given Brady an ultimatum to choose between her and football, calling it hurtful and untrue. She never demanded he retire. What she had wanted was simply for him to honor the agreement they had made together and be present with his family when he said he would be. She described the marriage as unhealthy, a word that shocked many people who had envied their relationship. When asked about allegations that she was unfaithful with jiu-jitsu instructor Joaquim Valente, she became visibly upset. She explained that this was exactly what happens to women who have the courage to leave unhealthy relationships. They get blamed, their motives get questioned, and they are portrayed as the problem. The relationship with Valente came after the marriage had ended, not before. In another interview with Robin Roberts, Gisele became emotional discussing what she called the death of a dream. She had spent 13 years supporting Brady's career, believing that eventually they would build the life they planned together. When that dream died, she had to grieve it. But she had also come to an important realization. She had to love herself enough to walk away from something that was slowly breaking her. This was not a decision made in anger. It was made with profound sadness and the recognition that staying would only cause more damage to both of them and their children. In the years following the divorce, Gisele moved forward deliberately. She refocused on her wellness business, her modeling career, and her role as a mother. She appeared in public looking healthier and happier than she had in years. She eventually developed a serious relationship with Joaquim Valente, and together they created a family life focused on wellness, presence, and genuine connection. She was building the life she had always wanted, not with Tom Brady, but for herself and her children. Meanwhile, Brady struggled. He tried to continue his football career, but eventually retired again in 2023. He took a broadcasting job with Fox Sports, but seemed to be searching for something to fill an emptiness that football could no longer satisfy. He posted cryptic messages on social media. He was photographed with various women, but none seemed to bring him genuine peace. Brady attempted to address the divorce publicly on his podcast and in newsletters to fans. He tried to reframe his career choices as lessons in commitment and dedication that he was teaching his children. He acknowledged that he was not perfect and that he had disappointed people along the way. But buried in these explanations was an admission that critics had been making all along. His actions reflected his priorities, and his priorities had always been football first, family second. In May 2024, Brady appeared on a Netflix roast special. Comedians made jokes about his divorce, about Gisele leaving him, about his family situation. The jokes were cruel, designed to hurt, and Brady sat there laughing along. But the next day, when his children called him after seeing clips from a roast, they asked him the question he could not answer. "Dad, why did you let them say those things about our family?" Brady later admitted on a podcast that hearing his children's hurt was like a stake through his heart. For a man who had built his entire identity on winning, on controlling every variable, on being prepared for every situation, he had no plan for managing the pain he had caused the people he loved most. Now at 48 years old, Tom Brady has won everything football can offer and lost the one thing that matters most. He has 7 Super Bowl rings, a place in the Hall of Fame, a net worth exceeding $500 million, and a legacy as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. But his ex-wife is happily married to someone who puts her first. His children have a stepfather who is actually present. And Brady sits alone, sometimes posting mysterious messages on social media, searching for something that no amount of success can give back to him. The tragedy of Tom Brady is not that he lost his marriage. The tragedy is that he finally understands why. He had to wait until he was no longer young, no longer competitive, no longer driven by the need to prove himself on the field. Only then could he see clearly what he had sacrificed. He chose the championships. He chose the glory. He chose to spend 23 Christmas mornings away from his family. He chose to miss countless moments that he can never get back. Gisele Bundchen moved on not with anger, but with acceptance. She built a new life focused on the values that had always been important to her: family, wellness, presence, and love. She gave Brady the gift of wishing him well, of not hating him, of wanting him to find happiness. And by doing so, she became the real winner in this story. Tom Brady finally admitted why his marriage failed. Not because Gisele did not love him enough, not because she was unreasonable or demanding, but because he loved football more. And in a life, something has to give. In the end, it was his marriage that broke. Like, subscribe, and follow for more.